Yo, guys, Justin James here with the 10-7, and we have a banger coming up this weekend. I'm talking about the Flyweight Championship, where we have Pantoja taking on Vann. And I tell you what, guys, I was super excited. I'm not big on the Flyweight division, but after watching these guys, man, Joshua Vann taking on Brandon Royval. If you guys haven't seen this Flyweight bout, it was an incredible matchup, one of the best Flyweight bouts I have ever seen. But let's get into this matchup. I am so excited. We're gonna start with the challenger, Joshua Vann. I tell you what, I'll be honest, not a huge fan of the flyweight division, but doing this breakdown, I got to kind of look into Joshua Vann's career, and this guy is exciting, especially for the flyweight division. This guy is an incredible counter striker. He's hard to push backwards. He waits for his guys. You watch Brandon Royval to come in with his range. Joshua Vann has such incredible counter strikes and counter boxing. This fight is going to be a banger. Pulling up Joshua Vann's Tapology right here. This is Josh Vann coming to this contest. 15 wins and 2 losses. Currently on a 5-fight win streak. 24 years of age, and that is freaking huge when it comes to MMA, guys. Very, very young. Very, very hungry. Currently ranked number 4. Look at this. 7 wins by knockout in the flyweight division. 2 wins by submission, 6 by decision. This guy's always looking to knock people out with his hands. Currently 18-1 in the UFC. Get down to his UFC debut. Contender series. Loses to Charles Johnson. And, man, you look at this. Decision. But Bruno Silva knocks him out. Brandon Royval, guys, if you haven't seen this matchup, you need to take a look, because this fight right here is what made me a fan of Joshua Vann. I mean, it was just incredible. Obviously got performance bonus, performance of the night over here, fight of the night. And that led him, knocking off number 2, led him to fighting Pantoja. Now, moving on to our champion, who's arguably one of the greatest flyweights of all time. Talking about Alexandre Pantoja. People regard him as one of the greatest of all time. Coming into this competition with 30 wins and only 5 losses. Currently on an 8-fight win streak, but he is 35 years of age. When you look at Josh Vann, like I mentioned, 24 years of age. So Josh definitely has the age advantage here, but I just don't see Pantoja slowing down right now. Obviously, ranked number 1, 8 wins by KO, 12 wins by submission, 10 by decision, 14-3 in the UFC. And Kai Kara France, Steve Erceg, Brandon Royval, Brandon Moreno, former champion. Royval, number 1 contender prior. Steve Erceg, awesome fighter. Kai Kara coming over, got the performance of the night bonus. Come over from Ryzen, had a lot of hype behind him. Alex Perez, Royval again, Manel Kopp. Like, geez, this is one of the most. Davison Figueroa loses, former champion right here. That was all the way back in 2019. You look at this. This guy hasn't lost a fight in 5 years. Making his debut back in 2017. Was on The Ultimate Fighter. Pantoja, arguably one of the greatest, flyweights of all time. Brandon Moreno, former champion. Like, nothing short of amazing on this resume. Let's get into the odds of this guy. And I that Pantoja is going to be the favorite here. Not really sure how to rate him, as how big of a favorite he's going to be. Taking on the 24-year-old guy, super hot right now. Let's take a look at the odds. All right, we have Pantoja versus Vann. Open up -270. Josh Vann +130. I think it's going to close about positive, or plus 200. Yeah, it's pretty good. That sounds about right. And you got Josh Vann, having such a youth advantage. Let me tell you a little bit about these guys. I'm going to start with Josh Vann. Now, Josh Vann, to me, does his best work on the inside with his inside boxing. Josh Vann holds his ground really, really well. Like I said, watch the Royval fight. Royval, stayed at bay with long strikes and long kicks. But Vann, kept his composure on the inside, stayed tight in his orthodox stance. And every time Royval was coming in, he's throwing those beautiful counter strikes, and this guy can crack, not to mention being 24 years of age, hasn't taken a lot of damages in his career, and he has a great chin on him. Royval landed some huge shots, but was unable to put away the young Joshua Vann. Now, when you look at Pantoja, Pantoja can knock guys out. As I mentioned, he has, 8 wins by knockout, but more impressively, he has 12 wins by submission. He's never been knocked out. He's never been subbed. I think, Pantoja's best submission is his rear naked choke. When he gets on guys' back, it's lights out. And something Pantoja does really well that I think he's going to have a lot of success with Vann is he rushes in, he blitzes. All right, he's 5'5". He likes to close the distance. And I think Vann is going to be looking to counter strike when Pantoja blitzes in. But when Pantoja blitzes in and Vann's going to hold his ground to counter, I think Pantoja is going to mix in his incredible wrestling with his great double leg. And, honestly, I just think that Pantoja is the more better, well-rounded fighter. I think his grappling's better. I think his wrestling's better. I think he's going to mix his striking in to get his takedowns. And I tell you what, if he gets on Vann's back, it could be good night for Vann. It could be even early in the first round. Pantoja, incredible wrestler, incredible grappler, has great striking. He's fast. He has power. He has knockout power. Both guys have a lot of knockout power. But when you look at, Vann's resume, he only has 2 wins by submission. He's not trying to take guys down. He's trying to do his best work in the pocket, throw his hands. He does throw kicks, but not a lot of kicks. He likes it. He likes using his boxing, which, has worked out really well for him. The young 24-year-old is radiating with confidence. I found this interview on MMA Junkie that I'm going to share with you guys, that he wants to come up to the flyweight. He wants to fight the best division, and he wants to dethrone one of the greatest flyweights there ever has been. And I want to show you guys this interview, and I just want to show you how much confidence Vann is radiating with. Take a look.
Before the Royval fight, there was like, even if you lose, it's okay, right? So I don't plan on losing. You know what I mean? So I'm here to take that belt from one of the greatest in our division. So that's the goal, and I stay at that.
Kyoji rejoins the UFC. He got that big win call for the title. Tyra was just in here, and he thinks if he stops Brandon Moreno, he should get the title fight. But when we see these great champions lose, oftentimes they maybe get rebooked in the rematch right away just because he's been the champion for so long. So is Pantoja a guy that if you win, you're probably going to have to run it back with right away just based on his resume and the respect the UFC has for him?
Yeah, after I beat Pantoja, that's the UFC to decide who I'll fight next and things like that. So I don't really worry about nothing else, you know what I mean? There's only one guy's in my mind, that's Pantoja.
Just last one for me. How's, I guess, life changed for the people around you, too? Because it's one thing for you to experience this, but with the people that came along.
I like to take a look at the comments. Look at this 24-year-old Josh Vann ready to dethrone Pantoja and become the first champion born in the 2000s. I think that's incredible, man. And, 24 years of age. But I'm going to have to say, I'm going to agree with Shane Street here. Love you, Josh. Pantoja most likely subbing you. And I have to agree there, guys. Like I said, I just think Pantoja is the a better overall fighter. I think Josh Vann is great. I think he has a bright future. I think he can be the champion. But, honestly, I want Pantoja to win. And there's another reason I want Pantoja to win, because Horiguchi came back to the UFC. He was 7-1 in the UFC. He's back in the UFC, and immediately he called for a fight against his teammate out of American Top Team. And I think this just has such an incredible storyline to it. I would love to see Horiguchi fight. I'd like to see Vann loses. I'd like to see Pantoja and Horiguchi fight. Maybe Vann gets another win after if he loses, and then he gets to fight Horiguchi or again. I feel Josh Vann is still very, very young. I think eventually he will be the champion one day. Like I said, with his incredible boxing, he has good wrestling, he has good grappling, but he's not known for his wrestling, his grappling. He's known for his in the pocket boxing. He's known for his power. He's known for his short strikes. And I just think Pantoja is going to be too much. Pantoja's 35 years of age. He has 35 fights coming in. He has a ton of experience. And I think his experience, I think his poise, I think his well-roundedness is going to pay dividends in this fight. My prediction, Pantoja is going to rush in with his striking. Josh Vann's going to plant his feet, try to counter-strike, but Pantoja is going to get him down and sub him during this fight. There is a chance that Josh Vann could land one of those big power strikes, those big counter punches, and knock him out. Unfortunately, I just don't see it happening in this fight, guys. Tell me what you think in the comments. Who's taking this? Is Josh Vann going to dethrone Pantoja, or are we going to have the first champion in the 2000 era, guys? Tell me in the comments, what do you think?